Don't want to go near them, they've got alcohol in their hands already. You know you're in a bike track, buddy. Yeah. Yeah. Here you go, here comes a bicycle. Here comes a lone bicycle. We found Matt, a cyclist come down from North Melbourne who uses these tracks quite regularly. Matt, in your own assessment as a cyclist, a regular rider, the two sides of the road here, we've got this bike track here, and on the other side, the two-lane bike track. Which do you think serves your purpose as a cyclist best?
I think, Mick, this side much more than that side. I mean, there's pros and cons to every bike track, but you see on the other side there, it's a two-way bike track, and certainly it's running parallel to cars that are coming down this way, but you've also got cyclists who are going the opposite way. For guys who are coming, for drivers who are coming out of the opposite way from a side street, it makes it very dangerous for cyclists particularly who are effectively in a blind spot for drivers coming out of that side street. So, as I said, there are pros and cons for each side, but I'll be much happier to be riding in the same on the same sort of wavelength as the cars that you're sort of going past.
And you use your bicycle as your primary form of transportation, do you?
Certainly do. Yeah, certainly do. It's I mean, apart from it being environmentally efficient, it's just obviously it's great physical exercise, and certainly the transport system, it's great here, but you want to be able to get from A to B on your own head of steam, so it's a great way to get around.
Well, we've been trying to get a mix of opinions from a variety of road users in the area and various stakeholders, and as a visitor from the other side of town, we appreciate your input.
Thank you very much, Mick.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
In the area, what's your opinion of what's going on here? Kevin, bicycles in the area. I believe you've had issues, or you've seen some pretty dramatic stuff.
Absolutely. Look, I'm a keen cyclist myself. I think we should all get on the bike a bit more often. I think it'd be good for humanity and our waistline to be using the bikes a bit more. But unfortunately, the planning of this particular street has meant that we've lost a lot of parking, and it's actually quite dangerous to cycle down this particular bike path. As you can see, on this road alone, we've got a two-way bike path on one side of the street.
Yep.
And I've seen many times before cars that are trying to cross here that aren't familiar with this particular bike track have almost knocked off bicyclists and cyclists on this particular road because they're not expecting them to come down two ways. Now look, we've been here for about 10 minutes now, standing here. There's been no bikes that have been using this particular path. It's not a major bicycle highway, and I believe it's absolutely unnecessary and very dangerous for cyclists to use this particular path as well. And just across the street, we've actually got another cycle path.
Which has just been repainted.
Which has just been repainted, which again takes away a bit of the parking on that side where we can fit some more angle parking. And again, people that aren't familiar with the area, expecting there's a bike path on that side, two-way bike path on this side, it's actually very dangerous for the cyclists to come along here. Even just as a pedestrian crossing the street, we had to turn our heads about 4 or 5 times just to get to this side of the street.
Indeed.
Because people aren't expecting cyclists from both sides on this particular bicycle highway, which is, as you can see, is very not very widely used.
No, it's rare as hen's teeth you'll see cyclists on here, and usually they're doing it about 5k. They're locals in their dresses. They're not
That's right.
lycra clad rockets, and it's very rare you'll see disused as a bicycle freeway.
No, and those lycra-clad cyclists, as you mentioned, are generally using the main part of the street anyway, because they
Yes.
probably know the dangers of using this as a cycle path,
Yep.
because no one's expecting them down this part of the street.
Indeed. Thank you.
Not a problem.
Cheers.
The side of the road actually.
Why is that, Rob?
Just find it's more convenient, it's more directional. The other one, this is unusual in that it's a two-directional bike lane, which is very unusual for Melbourne, I think, and a lot of people just aren't used to it. They prefer a one-directional bike lane, and it's safer. The other thing about this one I like is it's quite dark at night, and it's not well lit up at all. So if you've got two bicyclists coming the opposite direction, even with lights, it's still a very dark laneway.
Yeah. So you mainly use the one on the other side if you're traversing down.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. No worries at all.
Rarely, it'll be 9 times out of 10 I'd use the other side of the road, and maybe 1 time out of 10 would be on this side.
Right.
If that.
No
Maybe
worries.
more like 19 to 1 sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Now, have you heard that there's a new tram stop going up, possibly outside the primary school and the bowling club, where you're a member as well?
Yeah. I have heard something about that.
Okay. What do you think of the idea of turning into the car park coming from the north?
Look, I'm a bike guy, so I don't really care too much about the cars, but I think it's going to free up a bit of traffic for the trams. I don't object to it personally.
No.
It's nice and close for the kids as well, so I mean, I have no objections to that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, thanks very much.
No worries. Speak.
Cheers, mate.
Take care.